Sunday. Here's Sam Donaldson.
Good evening. The Lebanese Shiite Muslim captors of U.S. Marine Lieutenant Colonel William Higgins today threatened to kill him unless Israel frees their spiritual leader, Sheikh Abdul Karim Obeid, a cleric believed to have had a hand in Higgins' kidnapping in February of last year, but who himself is now a captive of Israel. Details on this late development from Don Cladstrup in Tel Aviv.
A group claiming to be holding U.S. Marine Lieutenant Colonel William Higgins has warned it will hang the American soldier at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning Eastern Time unless Israel frees a pro-Iranian fundamentalist cleric. The group, which calls itself the Organization of the Oppressed on Earth, said Higgins would be executed unless Israel releases Sheikh Abdul Karim Obeid and 2 colleagues. The 3 were abducted by Israeli commandos from Obeid's home in southern Lebanon 2 days ago. The threat was not accompanied by a picture of Higgins, but it did appear to be typed on the same kind of paper and with the same machine that previous messages have been. Today's threat drew sharp reaction from U.S. State Department spokeswoman Margaret Tutwiler, who called it an affront to the entire civilized community. It is outrageous and uncivilized that he should have been taken hostage in the first place, she said. It is equally outrageous to threaten to kill him. In Israel itself, there was no reaction from politicians. Foreign Minister Moshe Aarons, for example, refusing to comment. Israeli defense forces, meanwhile, were placed on alert this weekend along the northern border with Lebanon. This following threats of other reprisals by Shiite Muslim leaders in Beirut. Not dealing with terrorists has long been a fixture of Israeli policy. While the threat against Higgins is being taken seriously, Israeli leaders are also aware that those who have made threats before have often failed to carry them out. Don Cladstrup, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
Complicating all this is the word circulating in some quarters of the Middle East that Colonel Higgins may already be dead. ABC's Pierre Salinger has been told that high Iranian officials have said that Higgins' captors killed him within 48 hours of the U.S. mistaken shooting down of the Iranian Airbus last summer. But Salinger cautions that there is no substantiation for such reports, so Higgins' fate is still unknown. Standing by at the State Department is David Ensor. David, can you shed any light on these reports that Higgins may be dead?
Well, officials here have heard them also, Sam, but they stress that they have no definite evidence to back them up. They have no evidence that Colonel Higgins is no longer alive, and they point out that he's worth a lot more alive to his captors than otherwise.
All right, that aside, is there any evidence that the Bush administration may pressure Israel to return Sheikh Obeid?
I think not. In fact, I think there's evidence to the contrary. There's a very strong statement out of the White House today that says that the captors will be held fully accountable for the hostages' safety. It also says, and I think this is a reference to Iran, that the U.S. expects those who have influence with the hostage holders to do everything possible to ensure that no harm comes to them.
Well, now, if harm, in fact, does come to Colonel Higgins, if the group that holds him carries out a death threat against him now or tomorrow, what would the United States options be?
Well, officials here are very cautious in talking about that. They stress that they have a wide range of options, but they say they don't want to talk about them. Obviously, this is a tricky situation, and they're concerned about sending signals to the Middle East that might be endangering the hostages' safety.
Thank you very much, David. David Ensor at the State Department. In Beirut, the fierce artillery duels between Syrian and Christian forces continued today to kill civilians and wreck portions of the city. And in an ominous development, a Lebanese government official reported that the Christian army has acquired missiles and other weapons from Iraq to be used in the escalating war.
World News Sunday.